Greetings programs! Welcome back to Fractured Space. I actually meant to bring you a video of this a lot sooner, but things just kept getting in the way, and then of course personal missions were introduced. So although I had planned to go and record some of the Thursday session that they have with the all the devs being online as well, I actually put that off because of course personal missions came out, so I did that video instead. Now I did actually have some recorded footage that I thought about doing like a post-match commentary on, but I just couldn't quite get it to work with the. It would have meant a lot more editing. It would have been very, very choppy, and I decided not to do it in the end. But it's a pity because that bit of footage I had was actually quite fun. It was a fun match. I might find a way to work it into. I don't know. I'll put it in the background of a Q&D video or something at some point. But anyway, what's new? Well, the biggest change of recent times, and we'll flick to the hangar, and I can actually show you, is that we now have modules on the ships. Now you can just use any that you like at the moment. You don't have to go and unlock them because of course we're still in the technically I suppose a closed beta, I guess you'd call it. I'm not sure, but basically each ship has some modules to choose from. They're not necessarily upgrades. They've gone in a very Team Fortress 2 direction with this, where you can use basically any combination you like to more suit your play style. So, although you would look at it and you'd think, you know, the 3 weapons must be better than the rank 2 weapons or the rank 1 weapons, it isn't actually necessarily the case. So, I'm trying to pick one of actually. Hunter's probably the best one, actually, having flicked away from it. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of choices for the Hunter, and not everything is actually available yet. Now, things like the engines, I suspect they'll just be straight upgrades. But you get things like the missiles. You might not necessarily want mines, for instance. And torpedo is going to be a single heavy missile. There aren't any tooltips at the moment. You can't tell what these things are just by looking at them in the tech tree. You actually have to jump into battle and test them out. But things like, you know, these are going to be further range blinks, and I think I actually tried out the range blink last time. Faster cannon was obviously going to be a faster firing version of the regular cannon. Might be less damage per shot. Again, we don't have any actual tooltips or anything to tell us that yet, and a heavy cannon is presumably going to be slower firing but more damage per shot. So it's things like that. So I'm actually going to play, I think, as the Disruptor. It's rapidly shaping up to be my favourite class of vehicle. In theory, I ought to like the flagship, but unless you've actually got a Disruptor buddy following you around and healing you up with his heal drones, because it's basically the medic of TF2. It is, yeah, it is. It's that medic heavy combo from TF2. That's basically what it is. It's that synergy. And if you don't have a Disruptor following your flagship around, then it can be very annoying because you don't have the speed in a flagship to get back to heal. And if there aren't any Disruptors on your team, then there actually isn't a point in playing the flagship, it feels like, without the Disruptor. I'm not sure if that's what they're going for, but that's how it feels like just now. So we're actually going to, on the Disruptor, we're going to go with the only upgrades that are available, which are to the armament. And we're actually going to go with the Ripple Blaster because it's got kind of a cool effect. Now, when I recorded this last time, I was having, again, frame rate issues, but it's because possibly I was recording and all the options were turned up to ultra setting. So I've actually turned down the graphics options a bit, and hopefully that will mean that it'll run a bit smoother, but we shall see. So here we are. We're just in the pre-battle phase at the moment. Now, as you can see, it doesn't look quite the same because I've basically turned down the graphics settings a bit. We're on the medium settings at the moment. I had to do a bit of experimenting. Ultra was being very derpy in terms of frame rate, and even the high graphics settings were being quite, you know, it was down to about 20 frames per second. And even when recording on the medium, I'm still getting, at the moment it's saying 24, 25, so frame rate's still a bit of an issue. Now actually this battle might have started already. It's actually hard to tell. I think it has. It didn't give me a message about you can change your ship type. So yeah, no, I think this battle has actually started. Because when I joined it, there's only like 4 other people on the server, so usually that's not enough for it to have started. But clearly we have, because people are shooting each other. So yeah, the Disruptor, I'm thinking this is probably going to be my go-to class, just because you can do a bit of damage yourself, but you can also be very effective in healing up your allies, and a well-played Disruptor I think is going to be of great benefit to the team. Just as in TF2, 1 or 2 really good medics can make a hell of a lot of difference to the outcome of a match. So we can actually fire the weapons disabler at that guy. Just pummel him with some damage. There we go. Now this is the Ripple Blaster I'm using. It's not that different. I mean, the Disruptor's not particularly about the weaponry. Again, I'm going to keep making this comparison, but it pretty much is a valid one to make. It is the medics in TF2. You know, they can be offensive, they can cause damage. It's just that's not necessarily what they're particularly good at. Now, I probably want to drop down actually. Oh, hello. Let's get the repair drones away. We're taking a little bit of damage, but I'm trying to stay away from that capital ship for now. But yeah, frame rate 14 frames per second. I'm sure they're working on the, you know, optimization is one of those ongoing things. And it's the Unreal 4 engine, so it's something a hell of a lot more up to date than the Big World engine that World of Tanks uses, of course. But that's definitely going to be an issue for a lot of people. Right, who's on my tail? I don't know. Well, they're hurting me quite badly. I'm trying to go after this guy because he's basically alone. There we go. Knock his weapons out briefly. Oh, he's trying to jump. He's trying to jump. Good time to do damage. It would be if the frame rate wasn't derpy. Where are you going, Sonny Jim? Launch repair drones. Now, I can vaguely remember all the keys for this. I quite like that it's not that complicated, there's not that many keys to remember, and you can pretty much just jump in and derp around. We might actually want to do a tactical retreat, because that's a lot of enemies. The flagship can put out a lot of DPM, but that's the point of the flagship really. If it's being healed, it can put out a lot of DPM and be very effective in that regard. Someone's jamming the minimap as well. Right, who... Coco Pop is apparently quite... What class is he? Hunter maybe? Right. I'm actually not quite sure. I think there's an enemy in the middle of that lot, but as you can see, it's rather difficult to see what's going on right now. Right, so disarm him temporarily. And I'm trying to get near my allies basically, so that my drones will actually be able to do some good. But wow, this frame rate's not good. We're down very badly on health points though, yeah. It's actually quite hard to tell when there's that much stuff on the screen, like you can't really see the HUD very well to see what your health is. But those are the new, I think those are the photonic, the flagships with the photonic burst weapons rather than the usual flak. So they've really only got sort of one big upgrade option, and that's the flaks kind of like put out a big cloud of stuff, whereas the photonics are they more like you're firing off a burst and it's like a firework. It goes off and goes poof in a big area, rather than a continuous cloud of stuff that you're pumping out, which is still pretty nasty. So who we got on our team? 2 disruptors, an assassin, a sniper, and a flagship. So if I can find... It would be nice... I mean, you don't at the moment get absolutely any idea... Oh, I got caught on him. From the actual minimap information, you don't even see which friendlies are which, basically. So that's something hopefully they'll add at some point, because that's obviously very, very useful information in a game like World of Tanks. War Thunder, although War Thunder, it took them an awfully long time to improve their minimap. I should go to the Gamma sector.
Jump set. Keep us out of combat.
Because the gas facility is about to pop up. Now, as you can see, the jump animation's changed, and the way the gas facility works has also changed as well. So where's this guy? So it's almost a first come, first served. It's the first person that gets to the gas facility will actually get the benefit. And I don't know if it's just a benefit for them or if it's the benefit for their team. But either way, it's you know, there's a good reason to try and get it.
Target's preparing to reload.
Now, is he jumping away entirely? It looks like maybe.
Target lost.
Okay, so we'll fire off our detect.
Enemy spotted.
The enemy is attacking the station.
When it says enemy spotted, it would be rather nice to know where. But anyway, let's fire off heal drones. And we'll go for this guy. Because he's kind of... It's like, they're dangerous, but when a flagship it's on its own, it's a lot less dangerous. Because, wow, you can see that damage output there. I think my engine's just got disabled.
Coming near your station.
Get it out of range.
We received a request for return.
Yeah, I'm getting the full benefit of his... I've probably got a bit too close there. I feel like going that close to a flagship is probably actually a bad plan. Let's not do that. So yeah, this and the Hunter is the other class that I've actually been really enjoying playing. The Assassin and the Sniper not so much. The Flagship, like I said, is heavily team dependent.
Intel reports the
Having a friendly disruptor around who is giving you their attention really makes a vast amount of difference when you're trying to play the Flagship. And that kind of combination, you know, a disruptor and a Flagship, you can be quite potent. I feel like we're getting quite badly outrun on this. Yeah, they're ahead economically. You can see there.
I'm receiving station SOS.
They are, in terms of the economy side, beating us. So that means they're getting the upgrades faster, which means their ships are that much more potent.
The jump is complete.
So this match might be over rather quickly. But that's fine, I just wanted to show you some
Secure the station.
you know, updates, I guess. Some progress with where Fracture Space is at. I'm planning to stick with this, dip into it occasionally. Might not play it quite as often as something like War Thunder, but it probably will get more of my attention than Elite, to be honest, because actually I was donated the money by our very own Ginge. If you follow the stream, you'll know Ginge, of course. But
I have a new target.
I don't know, it's a bit daunting, frankly, Elite, and it isn't the kind of space game I like. I like big capital ships, and I like to fly around doing damage with big capital ships, and it's games like Homeworld, particularly, really are my kind of forte. Or what was the one? Empire at War? I can't remember. The Star Wars one, you control like fleets and things, and it's not that you're flying around in an individual fighter ship or something of that nature. It's that you're in a big ship, and you've got big guns and fighter squadrons to launch. You know, things like that. Gas power, wow, he can move quick. So, well, that's his missile system, right. So, a game like Elite, where you are the pilot and you're flying around in a tiny one-man spaceship, it's not... I mean, I'm gonna maybe find some people to try playing it with and
Navigation.
have a go at it that way, because that might add an element, but just flying around on my own trying to find stuff to... You know, I never really played Elite. That was never really my kind of game anyway, and although there have been one or two Elite kind of clones that I've found interesting, there's one in particular, and it's a sort of oldish game at this point, called Escape Velocity Nova, which was originally a Mac game, but it's very much on the Elite model, and it's quite a fun little game, although it's like 10 years old and it costs as much now as it did then, which is a little bit like, I can't quite see why they've done that, but it's that kind of, I don't know, something about Elite that's just off-putting as it is right now. But although Star Citizen is similar in some ways, the idea of Star Citizen, and I know it's not necessarily going to happen particularly soon, but the idea of being able to go and crew on somebody else's starship, that's got much more appeal than all the trading, especially the fighting stuff. Like, I'm not that interested in actually all the dogfighting part of elite as it is now. I'd much rather go and is he down? Yes, he is. Do a bit of exploring and maybe a little bit of trading as well on the side. But of course, then there's that grind for credits, and you've got to dodge all the pirates, and I don't know. Yeah, it's. I'm struggling to find sufficient interest to put in the, because it feels like that's the kind of game where you do need to put in the hours. Whereas this is pretty much you can just jump in, and it's sort of rock paper scissors, very simple style. Everything is, after not too much effort, you can discern what all the different classes do, and you can just jump in and play basically. And of course, eventually they're going to have some kind of progression, and you'll have to deal with grinding out XP and grinding money and all that kind of thing. But I'm just trying to spot these guys basically. That isn't really there at the moment, so that remains to be seen. But it's still going to be a lot less involved, I suspect, than the likes of Elite.
We lost all power.
So we'll just actually
Ship's back at 100%.
get the... they're trying to close the distance on me, which is fine by me. Although, actually, I would say that's fine by me. That is... that's 4 of them. And I might actually do well to jump while I'm in cover here of the station. I'm still taking some damage, but it's going to be less than if I was not in cover.
Defensive maneuvers.
Oh, so that feels like a slightly cheap strategy in that, you take cover behind something and then jump away. But on the other hand, it's the smart way to do it, because if you're just sitting in open space, that makes it really easy for them to just pummel you into space dust, which is not what we want really. So I was all hopeful that lowering the graphics settings would actually give much better frame rate, and it seemed to at first, but apparently not. It's a bit disappointing.
The drones are clear.
I know they were I guess you call it community guy or whatever. But Bungle anyway was I was on his Twitter or somewhere saying, but he was trying out a build that was had some very interesting features in it, but there was had a bit too many bugs still, so they were not going to roll that out right away. But there's still a lot of interesting stuff to come in this game. I have a feeling, just based on, I think they've managed to get far enough ahead with the economy side, to be honest, that very little chance we're actually going to pull this one back. That is as close to like a ticket counter or something as you're going to get in this game, as seeing who's doing better economy wise, and then you can actually from that tell how far ahead they are. Because if they manage to get really far ahead of you, then their ships are just going to be, well, apart from everything else, they're going to have more hit points. And in multi-ship engagements, if one group of the enemy, one team has got significantly more hit points, then I suspect that's going to make quite a big difference. Let's fire to disarm. For some of the longer cooldowns, it'd be nice if there was some kind of visual indicator other than just the timer, because you have to keep... Well, maybe it's not a thing if you're used to MMOs where it's all kind of hot bars and cooldowns, but I don't play that style of thing, so I keep missing when cooldowns are finished, basically. Right, disable him temporarily, just keep pummeling him. He's going down. Is there another one around that? I can't actually see anything right now. Has the enemy team got 2 flagships? Yes, they do. So it was the other flagship that was whacking me into oblivion there. Well, at least I think it was the other flagship. The first flagship surely died. Or was I just not paying enough attention? No? Okay. See, we lost somebody, but I don't see it on the team list, unless the team list just doesn't catch up that easily, or it's somebody that's been spectating. I think you can spectate on these, I'm not sure. So where are we at? 13,000, slowly ticking up there, over 18,000 with their economy, with the crystals, the resources. So they are definitely going to be ahead of us in upgrades. So
Station is being secured.
jump to where are the allies at? Turn beta sector.
Drive is speeding up. Defenses are down.
Yes. Let's see.
Capture successful.
There we go. Well, I've actually got 2 people here as well. It's just not showing up on the minimap. That's a bit odd. Is that a thing that's supposed to happen that they don't show up on the minimap? Probably not. You are supposed to be able to see where all your allies are. Anyway. So let's start trying to capture these resource points. There's not even really much going on right now, although there's all this space particle stuff that might be not doing the frame rate any good. But my graphics card is fairly good. It's not, you know, the best graphics card ever, but it's an R290, so it's pretty decent.
We've taken the station.
You know, my whole system is pretty decent, so at the moment I don't know how other people are finding it, and obviously recording is dropping my frame rate by at least 10 frames a second, so just playing it, your experience is going to be better than me playing it and recording it, but it's still going to be maybe an issue on weaker systems. Although that said, that doesn't seem to have stopped World of Tanks. So a lot of people play that on not very good PCs and even laptops that aren't particularly suitable, and persist despite the somewhat creaking game engine. I can't remember who it was that, probably Maxwell, somebody that said they weren't planning on doing
To upgrade this trait.
60 FPS World of Tanks videos, just because getting World of Tanks to record 60 FPS consistently is quite difficult. And it is! When I first started trying to record videos, and it was, I can't even remember what graphics card I had, but it was terrible, totally unsuitable. But
Capture the station.
it was recording at something like 10 FPS. And I was normally only playing at, well, nothing like 10 FPS. Right, I'll go through the middle, we'll go
We are ready to
straight
jump.
across to beta sector. I've also upgraded, which is good. But this is a much more modern engine, so hopefully they can optimize it. So that is a much less of an issue. It's a flagship. Flagships are at least easy to identify.
Enemy spotted.
So he's just gonna get sniped. Uh-oh, double flagship, break off. Yeah, this is what I had last time. Now, they don't have the best range, and they don't have the speed, so I can outrun them, but I just don't want to get caught in the flak between both those ships. That would be a bad plan.
The enemy has captured a station.
So that's another reason why a lone flagship is a sad flagship, because it doesn't really have the weapons range, and you don't especially have the speed to close the distance so much. So we'll launch repair drones. The sniper should be trying to get clear. I'm not quite sure why he isn't.
Intel reports the enemy attacking the base.
We might have to bug out here. This is a lot of people.
We are A-OK. All repairs complete.
Just make sure there's nobody nearby.
Go dark.
We'll get repair drones back soon. That'd be nice as well. Right, we do have some friendlies here, but they're not really. There we go. PC Tyler is slowly moving to intercept in his flagship.
Please come in here.
Repair drones out again.
They've broken through the portside armor.
Whoop. Get my guns around on him.
Portside defenses are down.
Oh, and my disarm's back up, so let's use that. As are the repair drones, so we want those as well. The only thing this class really lacks is missiles, which are quite nice sometimes. Is he actively coming after me? He might be. Oh, no, destroyed. I didn't, again, I didn't notice the thing sufficiently. Maybe it would be better if there was some kind of... I mean, you do get a verbal warning when you're running low on hit points, but some kind of... I don't know, klaxon or something. Like, that keeps happening. There's a lot of stuff going on otherwise on screen, and I just lose the information completely. And that might just be a problem I personally have. It might not really be an issue for most other people. Because I've said in the past that I do struggle a bit more with games where it's just like lots of stuff happening all at once in your face. Like air battles in War Thunder sometimes can be particularly like, you know, I don't know what's happening right now. Although since I started doing keyboard and mouse with those, I have gotten better. Like everyone thought I was such a noob for playing with a controller all that time. And it turned out, you know, it does have a really significant impact. Like trying to fly War Thunder with keyboard and mouse is way easier than a controller. In fact, I'm not sure you shouldn't even just bother with a controller for War Thunder for anything ever. So there we are. We actually lost that game, and I know this is a bit of an abrupt transition, but the game actually crashed just as we were being capped out. And so, because Bandicam really doesn't like it when a game crashes, it ate the last like 5 minutes of the recording, unfortunately. But you didn't miss that much. It was just me more wittering on about, oh, you know, things I witter on about. So, yeah, there you go. Fractured Space. I will say, I mean, yes, it crashed, but that's actually the first time I've had it crash when I've played it since probably, well, the much earlier builds of the game anyway. Back before it even launched on Steam, it was crashing a lot at that point, but that was something they really worked on, you know, the stability of it. So, generally speaking, that doesn't happen too often. It's just a bit unfortunate it actually happened as I was recording. So, you can do the usual, you can leave any comments below, you can hit the like button, you can subscribe to my channel, and as always, stay tuned for more.